Switch gears and focus on the matters to do with the National Assembly. Kenyans have reacted in anger to news that MPs made huge budget allocations to fund their retirement after voters kicked them out. And joining me in studio to talk about a wide range of issues are former members of parliament. Let me introduce them to you at this time. Let me start from the far right there. We have Dr. Humphrey Njuguna, also known as Roho Safi, a former Gatanga member of parliament. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
And right next to me here, we have a lady who leads little or no introduction, Honorable Florence Kajuju, the former woman rep of Meru County. Welcome to the program as well.
Thank you, Waiga.
You serve in a committee or a department that's called, and I have the proper name here, the Former Members of Parliament Association. Tell us a bit about this group, and I can start with you, Dr. Ari.
Okay, this group called Former Members of Parliament, we have not had that type of association in the past. It's the first one. It's the first one since independence.
Since independence.
Since independence. And it came about after the August elections 2017, when we came together as former members of parliament, those who had lost the elections, and the issue was, is there life after parliament? Mm-hmm. And you realize, you accept, there's this negative narrative that once you have lost an elections, perhaps the society has done away with you. And we looked at this scenario and look at this cumulative knowledge and skills of that the country and the taxpayer has invested in me for 5 years. Take like now we are about 500 members of parliament who are now members of this association. Take say even 5 years. You are talking about 500 times 5 years. That's about 2,500 years of cumulated knowledge, skills and talents on matters of governance, on matters of leadership. Are you going to allow that to be wasted, to go to waste? So that's why we came together. So that we can look at this scenario. There is life after parliament.
There is life after parliament.
So that at least what can we offer among ourselves? What can we offer to this country? What can we offer to the society at large? So that's how FOPA was formed.
Tell us briefly, what does life after parliament look like? Those of us who've never been there.
It is.
In fact, you could even start with before Parliament. The change now once you get into Parliament, and then once you leave.
Can I say this, Wahiga? What you are trying to do is not new. Like in US, you have FMC, former members of Congress. You have the equivalence body in Canada, and we are saying, look at let's give an example. Our president Uhuru, after 2022, he's supposed to be out of politics. At 61 or 60 years old. Are you saying there's no life after that?
No, there needs to be.
Yes. So, so we would want to change this narrative because we have learned so much about governance. We have learned so much about legislation. We have learned so much on other issues. So this is possible to consult among ourselves. We have a voice on the issues we would want addressed in matters of governance and so on. So we think this narrative that after parliament, I'm unemployable, I cannot be useful to this country, that narrative needs to change.
And that's what you're working on. I'll come and figure and get an understanding from you in terms of your strategies. Honorable Kajuju, same question to you. Tell me a bit about this association, former members of parliament. And for you, I want to hear your personal story. Before, during, and after. He kind of skirted around it, but I'd be curious to hear that from you.
Yeah, thank you. And life in parliament was good. Of course, my interest in parliament was to ensure that I represent the people of Meru County, which, according to me, I did to my satisfaction from the little resources that the government was able to avail to us. And generally, you have your colleagues and you believe that all is well until you lose an election. When you lose an election, it becomes a little bit difficult because like a medical scheme, you had a medical cover that now is not available to you once you're out of parliament. Of course, there is the issue of going back to your profession, because for the time that I was in parliament, I was not doing my legal work. so you have to go back and put everything together.
Pick up
So that is what it means. But I'm so glad that we were able to come together as former members of parliament, agree that we must move on. We must accept and move on, which we did, and we've been able to bring together the members of around 500 of us, and many more are joining. The likes of Honorable Julia Ojiambo is a member, the likes of Honorable Mother Karua is a member, Dalmas Otieno. And to us, it's not an issue of which party you belong to. It's not an issue of Jubilee, it's not an issue of NASA. We've come together as former members of parliament to create this organization, to take care of our welfare. And we've been able to speak to NHIF, and they gave us a platinum cover that takes care of the medical needs of the membership. And we are also starting a SACCO society. We've been contributing money every month, and we're going to launch it. We are so glad that the Speaker of the National Assembly, none other than the Right Honorable Muturi JB, is the patron of FOPA, the former parliamentarians, and we are moving together to ensure that we are there for a common purpose. The unity of purpose is driving us, and we want to be part and parcel of this process of ensuring that Kenya is a better place, whether you are in parliament or out of parliament.
Out of parliament.
Yeah.
And even as you weigh in on this, Kenyans at this time are not very happy with members of parliament. And you heard what, I'm sure you had a chance to listen to what Dr. Bitang and Demo had to say. I don't think their problem is with whether members of parliament, whether present or those who've left the house, form associations and so forth. They feel that parliamentarians are entitled and are getting more than they deserve. I don't know how you respond to those. It's a very divisive topic. For example, you've seen some of the graphics I've put, that nearly 1.8 billion has been set aside for proposed monthly benefits. I don't know if those benefits will benefit you or after you, but I'd like to give you a chance to be able to respond, or those who come after you in 2022. But I'd like to give you a chance to respond to that.
At times, Wahiga, let me put it this way. All over the world, members of parliament, people don't seem to like members of parliament. whether you're talking about Congress in US, whether you talk about UK, whether you're talking about whatever, there is this negative feeling.
Why do you think they don't like members of parliament? In your view, I might have my own suspicions, but
yes, perhaps it's a question of misunderstanding. It's a question of, but it's not only in Kenya. Perhaps we need to look into it and know exactly why. This is not only to Kenya, everywhere, why there is this negative feeling about members of parliament. But coming to your question, I think it is important to appreciate that the members of parliament, in my view, are just like, even you are here, you are an employee. Whether you're talking about the PS, whether you're talking about civil servants, they are all employees. And now that we have salaries and remuneration commission in this country, governing and looking into the issues of remuneration to all state officers, I think it is important that we don't judge members of parliament harshly. Because like now the issue we are raising, the issue of gratuity.
I was about to ask that. I will not get gratuity if I leave my job today, but you do.
It is in one of the package of state officers.
Yes.
Whether you talk about the PS, whether you talk about the CS, whether you talk about the governors, they have been paid gratuity. It's a fact.
So you wonder why MPs are the ones being...
Why should they not be paid gratuity? And I'm saying this, I share the feelings of Kenyans, but let us also be fair to everybody.
So do you see where Kenyans are coming from with this? And let me read your tweet that Honorable Kajuju you can respond to. Someone says, it's insane that an MP works for 5 years and gets a pension. An ordinary Kenyan works for 65 years without pension. You die before you get it. For example, retired teachers are still waiting for their pensions till today. Do you see why Kenyans are so mad with the August House at this moment?
Actually, I would like to correct that tweet, because when you're in parliament, you contribute some money towards your pension. So what you get when you get out of parliament is a pension refund. my contribution.
But with a percentage on top that other Kenyans cannot.
It's a provision that whenever you contribute, then the government is supposed to make an equal contribution to your contribution. So this pension refund is not really that I'm getting money that I should not get. It's something that I've contributed to, and now the government tops up. So that is not a big issue. But I believe now this constitution that we have established the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. If anything was to be done by members of parliament that is illegal or unlawful, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission would go to court. And that is where the judiciary is there, to arbitrate on issues that maybe the rest of the country would feel have been done by members of parliament that could be illegal. And it's up to now the judiciary to make a decision on that.
What if they feel that and again, I'm not the advocate for Kenyans, but the feeling is that no matter what you do, the August House will simply have its way, even if you move to court?
But, Papa, let me say this right here.
Go ahead.
Kenyans ought also to know you cannot have pension and gratuity at the same time. Yeah? Like now, what members of parliament, if you have served one term,
you get gratuity. If you're voted out.
Yeah, you get gratuity.
Up until the time of retirement.
No, once.
Okay.
Just like anybody working on a contract, even those people who are working in our offices, they have gotten gratuity because they worked for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah?
But then when you reach the age of retirement,
you can't
get a pension at that point.
You can't. When you have
one MP,
when you have been a one-term MP.
Okay.
But when you have been a 2 terms MP, that is when you get pension and you don't get gratuity. So at times I fear personally there's a mix-up of issues where Kenyans don't seem to appreciate just because it's parliament, members of parliament. Okay. But it's good to clarify these issues, that when you are one-term member of parliament, you cannot get pension, you get gratuity.
Okay. Let me ask this other question. Members of parliament are amongst a group of the highest paid leaders in the country. That we cannot argue about. One perspective then would be, why are they so keen to raise pension or what they'll get if you already earn so much in those 5 years that you're in office as compared to someone else? Help me understand that, and what happens to members of parliament money while they are still serving, for them to be fighting to make sure that even once we go, you know, we still have a safety. Help us understand that from your perspective.
What is raising our pension? Because I'm at a loss. Yeah? Because this is not something that perhaps was created this particular by parliament this particular time. Yeah? It was there since 2013. Yeah? The pension you are talking about is if you have been a one-time member of parliament, you have been contributing. So you get your refund. You don't get, as it were, the pension. You get your pension refund. But if you have served 2 terms, that's the time you are entitled to pension. As it were, per month. But in terms of raising the pension, I'm at a loss, because perhaps it's just hype. So
the headline that was in the paper the other day,
I don't think it was correct.
It was not accurate.
No, I don't.
700% raise.
Oh, no.
In the pension paycheck.
No, let them do a bit of homework so that you don't condemn these people on hand.
Okay. Yeah. Honorable Kajuju, even as I come to you, and I don't want this to be just about MPs, but also about our system of politics. Walk us through the 5 years that you served Meru residents and the expectations that were upon you. The expectations upon me, just like your call for fundraising, I'm also called for fundraising, and I don't have the kind of checks you enjoyed, but you nevertheless do have some heavy obligations. Talk to me about those.
I actually don't think Kenyans are the highest paid in terms of the members of parliament and the ones that are highest paid in the country, because we know we can comparatively look at the others the other state officers who are paid quite some good money. But be that as it may, when I was in parliament, of course, there are 3 roles that an MP must be able to carry out. That is oversighting legislation and representation of the people. My business in Parliament was to ensure that I bring in the issues that were disturbing the Meru people. You remember my famous Miraa issue, which now I proudly say that it's a cash crop, and the president gave a budget that that money is supposed to be used now with the current crop that is in Parliament. And I brought in so many matters that affected my people, like the human-wildlife conflict, issues of the crops that were being damaged. So I believe that I did my best to ensure that I represented my people, even in their basic needs. The most important thing that the women representatives who were then in the 11th Parliament did was to ensure that there is a fund, because when we came in, there was no allocation of a fund like the CDF for the seat of the women representatives. We were able to push through government, and the president was really willing to indulge the women representatives, and he was able to allow us to have a national government affirmative action fund.
Okay.
The current members of women representatives are lucky, because now there is a fund already that they have started, and I've seen quite a number of them giving out checks, bursaries, money to the women. So this is the money that we fought for, and because it was a new seat, we really had to go through a lot of issues and trying to restructure the process. So those are some of the achievements that the women representatives in the 11th Parliament were able to go through.
But there were challenges which some of your colleagues have talked to me here about, in terms of the expectations of Kenyans from their leaders. I want to hear about those.
Let me assist her on that. Okay, assist her. And I'd like to say this. I now want to talk about my experience in Parliament, the 5 years I served in Parliament, 2013, 2017. I think an MP in Kenya is one of the most misunderstood personality in this country in terms of his role.
By Kenyans.
By Kenyans. Because if you go to the Constitution, the MP's role, including women represented here, is legislative, the legislative agenda. But you realize that seat of an MP, in my own humble opinion and submission, is a very commercialized law, where the constituents think, and they rightly think so because it's something that has developed. It's like a tradition, it's like a culture.
And you campaigned on that promise that you would be there for them when they need you.
Like now, very few of Kenyans appreciate the role of a governor, the role of a senator, the role of a women rep, the role of an MP. And an MP is seen, it is like he has to cater for all these needs. Whether it's my wife who is sick, whether it is school fees, whether it is roads, whether it's all these issues. I think we need to demystify the role of an MP so that I'm properly understood. Because at times I honestly thought that the burden was too much. And it is only a position in this country where your salary is not your salary. In terms of social obligations. Where here your salary is your salary. Even when you contribute, like you said, you do. The society does. The expectations is not as much as that of an MP. Perhaps it is because of that added social responsibility or social burden that makes this position be very misunderstood. I look forward to a time when an MP can be understood in the context that he ought to play in this country. That is the mismatch.
So should we then be focusing on increasing what MPs can access or educating Kenyans? And I want to again play this again. If we look at some of the changes that we've made, if now every one-term MP gets some sort of gratuity, how many gratuities will we be paying over the next 5 years? Because you know how Kenyans are. In 2022, you are pretty sure that they are going to send a whole bunch of legislators home. Again, it's back to the exchequer. We need to pay that group. 2026, you know, can you see the pattern now of how many we will have paid moving forward? Who's going to put
First of all, Wahiga, I would not want to see a situation where an MP is treated differently from the rest of Kenyans.
Okay.
I think the issue of gratuity gained root in the Kibaki administration with performance contracting, where after 5 years in this country, if it's 5 years, even if it's a PS, even if it's a minister, after that contract, you are paid your gratuity. Even my own employees who are paid by Parliament, they are paid gratuity. So what I would not want to see is a situation where the MP is getting other benefits other than what other Kenyans are getting.
So you're saying other Kenyans, the civil service enjoy
they are getting
the
gratuity.
same, it's just the amount that MPs get that has raised. Honorable Kajuju, you come in and help us. We seem to be going back and forth here.
First of all, I think what the chairman has said is quite true. We Kenyans need to be more educated in terms of civic education to understand the roles of a member of parliament. Because I sincerely believe that internationally, the standards that are applied on MPs are totally different from the way Kenyans view their representatives. The expectations are just too much, and you cannot match that expectation. You couldn't say that an MP is being paid 500,000 or 600,000, but I can assure you at the end of the day, when problems arise in the counties or in their constituencies, they end up using their money, because then they have no choice. Those are the needs that the constituents have. But in terms of gratuity or pension, what is important, according to me, is not that because 2022 a number of MPs will step out, in 2032 others will be out. It's a matter of the laws that we make at this point in time. Let us have proper legislation that is going to guide when MPs lose an election. What is it that they are supposed to get? And so that we don't have these kind of headlines that we see every other day when there is an attempt maybe to look at issues that affect members of parliament. They are public servants like any other Kenyans, and I think it is proper that issues be looked at, not just because they are politicians, but in a way that all of us know that at the end of the day, no one suffers.
But Mheshimiwa, to be quite honest, even as lecturers are on strike, they don't have the power to determine the changes to their pay structure, for example. MPs do, it seems. And I guess that is the big issue.
No.
It seems that they have.
No. Be fair to us. Members of parliament are also governed by CRC.
SRC.
Yes. They are not exception to that commission.
You don't blackmail or arm twist the SRC. And I'm not just showing you, I'm talking about the National Assembly.
And the other thing that personally I would like to see, and I pray and I dream that it will happen, is when you stop commercializing politics in this country, when Kenyans can vote politicians, MPs, on basis of issues. Yeah? Because this issue of commercialized politics in this country is not driving this country in the right direction. But when I go down history line, like when you fighting for independence, those days, our first president,
it wasn't about the money.
It was about issue-based. Today, if you went and campaigned on issues in this country, I can assure you, you won't get, if you are fighting for governor, you won't get it. For another seat, you won't get it. It's all about money. This is a fact. I look forward to a time when Kenyans can campaign on issues. And perhaps this is why, as former members of parliament in our association...
Could you make that part of your agenda?
It's part of our agenda. Because we are saying there is life after parliament. You have asked us, what is our experiences? You like to continue sharing those experiences with Kenyans moving forward. Like now we are saying, are we happy with the structure of governance in this country, having experienced it, having been part of it? We like to give our views. Yeah? We like to say also, like now, there's one thing I would like to see change in this country, that when you are a former member of parliament, it is like that. It's like fighting to be a member of parliament. It's like parliament is a career-destroying institution. Yeah? Okay? Even the way we are discussing with you here is like we are blacklisted because of what we are doing. No. This is a competition like any other competition. After all, if I was not in that competition, you would not have appreciated the winner. So even after that, give these people a chance. When they apply for jobs, give them a chance.
Okay.
Don't, we are not saying that you favor them. Okay?
Okay.
They are Kenyans.
You're not talking to me, you're speaking to employers. You're speaking to employers.
No. So these are some of the issues. I would rather be asked me, what is it that FOPA aims to achieve?
It's a bit of what you've mentioned in that statement.
Yes. We have a lot to offer in terms of our experiences.
Okay.
In terms of accumulated knowledge and skills. In terms of we are Kenyans. And we like to continue giving our input to this country because...
Fair enough. Thank you so much. I'll cut you off there. We had Honorable Florence Kajuju, former Meru Woman Rep, and also Dr. Humphrey Njuguna. He told me to mention AKA Roho Safi, former Katanga Member of Parliament, for coming to share on what might be a sensitive topic. Some may have shied away, but they have been bold enough to come here and join me for that, and we appreciate both of you for that, and we wish your association